You're listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show, where wealth is empowering, purpose is crucial, and high vibes are non-negotiable. And now, here's your host, certified business coach and practical woo strategist, Sarah J. Loureiro.
Hey Biz Babe, do you feel like you have a beautiful, big vision for your business yet are struggling to bring in consistent clients? If so, I totally know how you feel and I've got you. I used to struggle with getting and booking consistent clients when I first started my first business 4 years ago. But after implementing this amazing 6-pillar system that I've figured out for myself, I was able to get fully booked literally within a matter of weeks. If you want the same system, I'm actually giving it away for free in my fully booked in 30 days checklist for coaches and creatives. So you can find that on bit.ly/fully booked in 30. That's capital F, capital B, fully booked in 30. Check it out. I promise you that it is going to help you so much. Welcome. I am so excited to be here. I know I say that on every single episode, but I absolutely love doing this podcast and I love hearing from you guys to see what episodes you're resonating the most with and all the comments that you have. So thank you so much, first of all, for being here and for consuming this content. And I really hope that it is helping you with your business, helping you with your mindset, and ultimately helping you become the digital CEO, the badass boss lady that you know that you have inside of you. All right, so this episode is pretty personal, and I wanted to create it because I have been getting a few questions about this, especially for my clients and the women who are in my programs. So as I do this episode, as I record this episode, I'm actually 34 weeks pregnant. And so by the time this episode airs, I'm probably going to be in and around my due date. And I have chosen, for the most part, to keep my pregnancy pretty removed from social media. And that's not something that I had decided beforehand. That's actually something that intuitively just kind of came to me. I actually thought that I was going to be the person who was posting my baby bump at each and every stage within my pregnancy because I absolutely love seeing that from other women. I love seeing how their bellies grow. I love how much they are sharing about their experiences. So all of the women who have kind of come before me and have really put themselves out there, I applaud each and every one of you, and I have been so inspired by the women who have chosen to share this beautiful experience with other people. One of the reasons why I decided not to share about my pregnancy is because it's actually something that's really vulnerable for me. So what do I mean by this? I mean that this entire process of, my body changing and not having as much time to spend on my business, which has been totally fine because I have an amazing team. All of these different changes weren't things that I was open to sharing, basically because I was still going through them myself. And I just did not want to be open for any comments or any criticism or any questions or anything like that. So for me, this is what felt the best. And the beauty of entrepreneurship and being an influencer and social sharing is that you get to choose how much of your life you want to be sharing with other people. Right? There's no right or wrong answer here. And I just found that the more I shared, the more I would get unsolicited advice unsolicited advice is unsolicited for a reason. But the more I would feel really uncomfortable with the entire sharing experience of pregnancy because it just wasn't something that I was open to opinions on. And I actually, throughout my entire pregnancy, I have relied on the opinions of maybe 3 or 4 moms that I know, like, and trust enough, and women who really have very similar perspectives to me on pregnancy. My mom is one of them too, so I feel really, really happy that I could really bond with my mom over pregnancy, because one of her primary responsibilities, or one of her primary focuses within my pregnancy, was to help to support me. So I'm so appreciative of that. And I'm also so appreciative of the women who I chose I was going to go to for help. And so if any of you are listening to this right now and are pregnant or are thinking of getting pregnant and have a business, and you are getting really nervous about everything, one of my best suggestions is going to be, choose a few women who you really, really trust, and a few women who you know are really going to support you with your own decisions, and go to those people for help, and literally shut your doors to every single other opinion out there, because there are so many different opinions about pregnancy and motherhood that you can get really, really bombarded with them really easily. And especially if you are someone who obviously wants to do a really, really good job with your motherhood and with your pregnancy and all of that kind of stuff, you're always going to want to make sure that you're making the best decisions. And there are literally 100 different quote unquote best decisions, but not all of them are the best decision for you. And once I realized that anytime that I would post anything about my pregnancy, I'd get odd comments from odd people, that's when I realized that I wanted to keep it all to myself. I didn't want to kind of put myself out there. I didn't want to deal with any anxiety that might come up. I didn't want to deal with that vulnerability. And once again, not everyone is like this. In fact, there's a reason why I got inspired by so many people who were sharing their bumps and who were sharing their experiences. But that doesn't mean that I have to share mine. And this is where social media boundaries come in for all of us who are online and sharing personal experiences, and openly sharing about our lives on Instagram and on Facebook, and sharing to a platform where we have thousands of followers. I have thousands of people on my email list. I have thousands of people who are following me on Instagram. I have a huge community in Facebook as well. And it just wasn't something that I was open to receiving feedback on. And one of the best pieces of advice that I've received on vulnerability and sharing has been by the amazing Brené Brown. And what she says is that she really only shares pieces of vulnerability with her audience and with her community when she's already gone through it. And I loved that, because I don't think it's necessary for each and every one of us to be open to all that type of criticism and to literally just be a martyr out there if it's not something that you feel comfortable with. And she explains that so well. So if you are ever struggling with how much you want to share on social media, how much you don't want to share on social media, are you suffering from some sort of mental illness? Did you have a huge cry last night, right? It's all up to you on how much of that information you want to share within that specific moment in time. It doesn't make you fake. It doesn't make your account an illusion. It doesn't mean that it's all smoke and mirrors. It's literally how much you want to share at that specific point in time, because vulnerability can go such a long way with your community, with the people who are looking up to you, and with the people who are thinking about working with you. But if your vulnerability is going to come at your own sacrifice to your own mental health, or to, the struggles that you're going through at the moment, then it's not worth it to share. And that's a choice that you and only you can make. And I have a handful of business friends who did this very differently. And they decided to announce their pregnancies to their communities. They decided to be able to take on a few clients before their pregnancy and kind of just like have a stop during their maternity leave. What I decided to do was very, very different as a result of consulting with a few people, like I said, that I know, like, and trust enough, and people who I knew would understand the position that I'm in. And so one of the things that I ultimately decided was to be able to take on my one-on-one clients throughout my maternity leave and have a few plans in place where my team is also working to support them, and I just give them extra time working together. And initially I was so nervous about this, you guys, because I didn't know if this was going to come off in the right way. Everyone has so many different opinions about how much women should be taking time off from work, how much they shouldn't be taking time off from work. And really everyone's situation is so unique. But when I just was able to trust my gut and to trust my intuition and stop listening to every single person out there, that's when I realized that this is totally okay. I've got this. And I actually became fully booked with one-on-one clients the exact way that I wanted to, without any of them having any issues with the plan that I decided I was going to execute during the time right after birth. And one of the reasons why I decided to do this, one of the reasons why I decided to ultimately stop listening to 90% of the advice and suggestions that I was given from people who I wasn't asking information from, is because this has happened in the past for me as well. And I'm sure that if you're listening to this as a woman, it's probably happened to you as well. It's this whole idea that you need to be listening to everyone. You need to be the nice girl, and you need to take all of these different opinions into account because everyone's just trying to help you, right? But the thing is, you're the one who's always going to know best what works the best for you. And so I'll give you an example of this too. And this is one of the ultimate reasons why I decided that this point in time, I needed to listen to my gut. So right before we were leaving Toronto and packing up all of our things and quitting our 9-to-5s and selling all of our stuff and getting ready to move, I wanted to know how much time, quote unquote, should I be taking off in between quitting my job and actually making sure that I sell everything that I have and that I am moving. So how much time realistically do I need from my last day at my 9-to-5 to, the day of my flight? And I had a lot of people telling me I was going to need an entire month. I was going to need an entire month of time to fully reflect, to fully be able to, enjoy time with my friends, or to sell all my furniture, and all of these different suggestions and opinions, and which were great. A lot of them I asked for. But what I ended up realizing is I listened to other people's opinions over my own intuition at that specific point in time. And I ended up mildly regretting the fact that I took so much time in between. And the reason why I ended up regretting it is because of the fact that I literally didn't need a month. In fact, I needed probably about a week or 2 weeks in order to do everything that I needed to do. And having more time at work would have really helped me and my personality with the entire transition that I was doing. So that's just another example of how you always know what's best for you. And the minute that we stop listening to our intuition and stop listening to what it is that we feel to be true and just listen to other people's opinions over our own just because of the fact that other people have been through specific things, that's the minute that we neglect our own power and our own confidence and our own ability to make our own decisions. Is this going deep enough for you guys yet? Because I love how deep this conversation is going right now. And I want to take it a step further because this podcast is all about up-leveling your online business. So I want you to now take all of this information and really think about your business. So right now, think about your business and think about how often you listen to other people's opinions and judgments over your own intuition, over everything it is that you believe to be true or everything it is that you want to believe to be true. I have so many clients when they first come to me, they talk to me about how they know that they can do this, they have this huge vision for their business, but, my uncle at dinner last week told me that that's all, a scam, or you can't possibly do that, or you need to go back to your 9 to 5, or, my parents had a huge lecture with me saying, you can't do that, that's never going to be successful. And they end up internalizing all of those comments, and they end up listening to those comments over all of the strength and all of the beautiful things that they are being called to do. And this is the same thing. Right? This is the same thing. This is the same vulnerability. So this is the same vulnerability that I felt when I got pregnant and started sharing a few different things on social media, and then all of a sudden had these people respond to me with unsolicited advice, and I started to internalize it as well because I've never been a mom before. I have no idea what I'm doing. Right? And if these other people are moms, then clearly they know what they're doing. And it's the same thing with business when you're first starting out, especially when they are people who you've always looked up to, right? So like, hey, if my manager is telling me it's not going to work out, my manager really, really knows what they're doing. They're a really reputable person. So I need to believe them. Or I've always listened to my parents, right? Like my parents have always given me such good advice, so I need to believe them. And here's the thing, there are so many different ways that you can grow business, and there are so many different ways that you can navigate pregnancy, but ultimately the right way is going to be the best way for you, right? The best decision that you can make is going to be the decision that you make that comes from within. And so if you're listening to this right now and you're saying, oh my gosh, this is so me, I get triggered every single time I talk to anyone about my business because it's just starting out, or I haven't really seen the type of success that I have wanted to see yet, or, I'm still deciding what to do with it. And every time I talk to people about it, they always give me these different opinions that I internalize, and then I take them all to heart, and then I just get really, really nervous about the entire situation. And what I usually tell my clients when they are going through this is that they don't need to share with everyone, right? The same way that I don't need to share my pregnancy with all of social media if I don't feel comfortable with doing it, they don't need to share their business with everyone. You do not need to share all of your business success and all of your business failures with everyone. So a really, really simple little mantra, or little saying that you can do with anyone who asks you about your business, and you don't really want to talk to them about it because at the end of the day, you have your 3 people or you have your 4 people who you talk to about your business, who you really value and respect their opinions on, and everyone else kind of just like goes off to the sidelines. I highly, highly recommend that you start doing that if you haven't started doing that yet. And when anyone who isn't on that list that can literally fit on one palm of your hand, if anyone is asking you about your business and about how it's doing, all you need to do is say, it's going great. Thank you. And I mean, this is the same as pregnancy, right? How's your pregnancy going? It's going really well. Thank you, right? If I do have anything that I really want to speak about to any specific person, I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to those people who I have hand selected to speak to about that situation, because it is a vulnerable situation for me, and those are the people who make me feel the most empowered. The same thing goes with business. If you feel like a business is really vulnerable for you right now because you're just starting out, you're going to want to make sure that you have that handful of people that you go to that are always going to make you feel empowered as well. All right, so that is all for now. That is all about why I decided to keep my pregnancy largely private from social media. Obviously, I still spoke to all of my clients, everyone who's in my mastermind, and everyone who's in all of my programs about my pregnancy, because with the people who are paying me, I wanted to make sure that I was super transparent about everything that was going on. But I am so thankful that everything has worked out and that I have a really amazing team and a really amazing community that has just been so supportive along the way. And I really hope that it helps you to identify where you want to create your own boundaries and how you can start listening a little bit more to your intuition. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Hey, did you like or love this episode? If so, I would so appreciate it if you left a review and rated this episode on iTunes. It would literally mean so much to me. And if you have Instagram and are all up in your Instagram stories like I am, I would love it if you would share this episode with your beautiful followers so they can also get all of the high vibes, all of the free information that I'm giving you here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. If you enjoy our show and would like the show notes and free goodies about how to grow your online coaching business, head over to sarahjlorero.com for more information. We hope you'll tune in next time.